Oh, are we
Hello.
live?
Yeah,
Yeah?
we're
Okay,
live.
perfect. Well,
Hi.
hello and welcome to our June product update. We have Jamie and I here, and we have some new friends with us as well. How are you doing, Jamie?
I'm good. I'm good. It's great to have some new faces on the stream this week, or this month
Yeah?
rather.
Yeah, so this week we have Fred and Joao who are joining our stream for a little bit, and I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves. If maybe Fred, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having me first. Yeah, first time on this product stream at GraphCMS, so exciting moment. So I'm leading frontend at GraphCMS. Basically, everything you see goes through my team, I would say. And yeah, that's it.
Great to have you,
Awesome. And
and welcome,
Joao?
Joao.
Great. So hey guys, once again here. I think last month I was with Emily here and also Scott. So it's my second time. I'm a marketing engineer here at GraphCMS. So I work on reference starters and on the website and a lot of tools, open source tools, and that's it.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a big month for us. We have a lot to announce today and a lot to share with you guys for what we've all been working on. It's really exciting. So, Fred, we'll let you go ahead and kick it off. The first thing being announcing our UI extensions. So, do you want us to
Yeah,
give? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sure. So UI extension, it's something we were dreaming of and working on for a couple of months now, and it took some time to figure it out. But very excited to push this first feature preview. So it's also the first time we do this, pushing something out before it's completely done, to get early feedback so we can still adjust and make some maybe breaking changes before there's too much adoption. So yeah, UI extensions, it will allow you to basically take parts of the UI that are not ideal for your workflow and replace them by a component you build yourself. So the first use case we are implementing is the most asked for, the most typical one is really in form inputs. Like let's say you have an external system like a shop, and you want to reference some products in your articles, and you would, instead of copy pasting a product reference from one app to another, you would like to be able to replace the string inputs and have a product picker instead. And so just clicking something and it would open the shop, and you could then pick something and put it right in your form and have this kind of integration. Also, if I don't know, if you are not happy with our current Markdown editor, which I can understand, you could build your own. Also integrating, I don't know, some external things, or yeah, basically that's it. You can replace any input by one that you build yourself and host it. For now, we only made a React SDK, so you could only build React component and host them. But the technology we are using behind the scenes is actually agnostic, framework agnostic. So and we made on top of it a React version because we are most comfortable here at GraphCMS with React. But yeah, you will be able to build extension with Vue or with basically any front-end technology.
That's really cool. I think to remember, you mentioned it in when you were describing that there, that if somebody isn't comfortable using one of our predefined fields, they may want to use this to build their own. And I think that is fundamentally what this is about, right? There's not one kind of content management system that's going to work for everyone. So this tool allows you to kind of bring in, maybe it's what your team is already comfortable with. Not everybody has the opportunity to greenfield a new project. So they may have some kind of legacy editor or content management field that they kind of already use. this way, they can already use that. And this opens up a ton of integration possibilities as well. What's kind of next for the UI extensions? At the moment, it's just field. What else is next in the realm of the UI extensions?
So for now it's field, and it's even a preview for field. So full use case for fields, it's not implemented yet. So we don't handle lists like multiple values. I mean, it would work, but we would not be able to build your own list renderer yet. But this will come in upcoming weeks. A couple of other details like this that are detailed on our current documentation. The next steps are still being shaped. We know the next one. The next one would be a sidebar element in the content form, which would allow you to build things that are scoped to the whole document and not to a specific field. It could be, I don't know, a chat window, or implementing your own workflow, or triggering a deployment on your stack that is not available, that would not have already been implemented by us in our integrations, or yeah, a lot of other use cases.
Sounds great.
Super cool. Yeah, and Fred, if people are trying the UI extensions out and have a little bit of feedback, as you mentioned, this feature is still in preview, where should they give their feedback?
But for me, is obviously, I would say the first place for any feedback would be our community on Slack. We are all on there. You can just mention us or mention me directly, Frederick, and yeah. Soon we will also have more GitHub repos with examples and the SDK on GitHub. For now, it's not open source yet. We still need to clean up some things before I mean, there are issues we know, and we prefer to address them before you raise issues. So yeah. So soon you will also be able to give feedback on GitHub. But for now, the Slack community is the best place.
Yeah, and we even have a feedback channel there, so that's also a good spot to drop it in.
And yeah, please play with it and give us feedback. That is why we opened an early preview, is to be able to address all this feedback rapidly before it has too much implications to make changes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to see all of the UI extensions that people start building and seeing all of the creative ways that they kind of extend GraphCMS. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Very excited as well. We already see some crazy use cases. Jamie, you did some funny things with Stripe. Also played with external services like Cloudinary and all this, and yeah, huge potential.
Yeah,
maybe we have some community event that is for someone to create the most wonderful or weird UI extension that we've seen. Possibly something we can work on.
That would be fun
with the community.
That would be very fun.
Great.
So Joao, I know one thing that you've been working on the last month has been this marketing website starter. Do you want to give a little bit about what the marketing website starter is and what you've been working on?
Yeah, so really excited to share these marketing starters. We already had starters for other apps as well, such as podcasts, travel sites, blog, and others. So now we have a marketing website starter, and it is built for SaaS products. So you can add pricing, you can have a blog, custom pages. It is built using Next.js with Chakra and of course GraphCMS. So the repository is also open source. And it's pretty fun to develop it. I developed it using Chakra, and I'm loving Chakra. It's a great UI library, and I think you also enjoy it. So that's it.
Very, very cool. I'm excited to give this a try. And this has, one-click deploy as well, and you can clone the project from GraphCMS. So it's really easy just to get going with this. So if you're new to GraphCMS, I think this is a great way to kind of learn about the different schemas, and great job on this. It's really awesome to see this finally get out there.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I think one things that our sales team has been working on recently has been cloning this and creating their own little websites because, we've all worked with the GraphCMS schema in the past, but if you're not a developer, sometimes you have the halfway point of having this great schema and having a great project, but maybe you don't put it all together. And so being able to see it from start to finish is super cool. So
Yeah, it is also full of features. So it is using Next.js and internationalization feature, sorry, and also Next.js image. So it's on Next.js 10, but we are gonna update it to Next.js 11 soon. So that's very nice.
awesome.
Awesome job, man.
Super cool. Okay, Jamie, what have you been working on the last month?
Yeah, so one of the requests that we see quite often is how do we migrate to GraphCMS? And there's maybe 100 different ways you can do this. Even just using Mutations API, people have content in all types of different formats. This article just kind of goes over one, which is important content from a CSV. Obviously, a lot of people will be important content from other formats, like I say, but I thought I would just kind of give a very basic kind of run through of how you do it from CSV. And that is basically just taking all the data from the CSV and then creating that content inside of GraphCMS. However, there's a bit of a step before that. As we know, we need to kind of create the schema. GraphCMS is completely flexible and it allows you to define the schema and the models to your liking. So what I would say is take the opportunity, if you can, when migrating to GraphCMS, to look at your current data set. And if you can normalize that, create the schema in a new normalized way that makes it the best experience for content editors. There isn't really there isn't a one-click solution for kind of migrating data between these different CMSs. And if you do come to GraphCMS and want to import existing data, try and normalize it and make the experience going forward great for your editors. Otherwise, you'll end up with a bunch of string fields, and it's really hard to maintain. And you don't have things like the slug UI that we have. You don't have the rich text fields and Boolean checkboxes, things like that. This guide just goes through how you can programmatically create that schema and how you can import it using the API. So I was pretty excited to get that content out there. It's been requested a few times, so I thought it would be useful to create a blog article and kind of walk through some of the steps. And I think in here I also show some of the schema you get when you generate a GraphQL model with GraphCMS. Once you generate a model, you get a bunch of different queries and mutations that have their own input types. And then depending on if the fields are required, all that's reflected in the GraphCMS schema. So I've just tried to highlight some of this. This is not so much a tutorial where it's step one, you copy paste this. It's just kind of some things to consider when you are importing data. And I think I'll give an example of using a queuing system in here as well. Probably it's wise that you kind of queue this data to be imported, because I very much doubt that content's going to go over first time every time, but some content might. So at least this way you can kind of retry things that have failed and modify maybe some of the imports scripts you have around that. So let me know what you think about this. If there is any other formats you'd like to see some examples of, or if you want us to add to this example, I'm happy to kind of create more content around this as well. It's only going to get more popular as GraphCMS gets more popular and more people use us and use us for many different things. People want to import content from other systems because, why not?
Yeah, definitely. I know, like you mentioned, this is one of the things that we get most often is where do I start when I want to import content into GraphCMS? And so this is awesome to kind of give people at least kind of a North Star of where to follow rather than just having to figure it out. So this is great.
Yeah. And the other bit of content that I started to work on was actually using the GraphQL code generator. And I started to look at this when I kind of picked up TypeScript, and I have to thank Frederick for this, because he was the one that's been encouraging me, nudging me, and he kind of made me look at the code generator again after leaving it for so many months to just kind of go at it. So I was like, everything I do now will be using the GraphQL code generator and TypeScript. And I haven't really looked back since, because now, there's so much less code that I have to write. It's fantastic. It will generate my kind of queries or query hooks with Apollo in this example. I use GraphQL request quite a lot because it's more low level, and it works the exact same way. That will expose a bunch of functions that you can run asynchronously. And this obviously uses, this example, I think, walks through the Apollo client. So what this will do is it will generate, based off a query you have in your project, say to get all products or posts, this will generate a GraphQL query hook or Apollo client hook that you can use inside of your code. And all of that is kind of, that type safety is brought through from the query and then rendering that out as well to the page, which is really nice. And it's very simple to set up as well. There is a kind of an npx command to kind of scaffold things out, and then it's just a case of you writing your queries as you normally would and using fragments where possible. And yeah, it's just a great experience. So if you haven't already checked out the GraphQL code generator, go check this out. It's a project that's, I think it's maintained by the guild, who have some other GraphQL tools, but this is really nice and really straightforward to get going with. So thanks to you, Frederick, for introducing me again to this.
Thanks to them, to the guild, for building this. It's really amazing. It really saves us a lot in our front-end work at GraphCMS as well. When there are schema changes in the backend, we can pick up immediately what impact it has on our frontend because, well, our frontend is built in TypeScript, and each little data change breaks our types or not, and then it's a good thing. So it's immediate feedback. We don't have to run all the test routes, just rebuilding the types, and we see if the app still builds. And yeah, amazing developer experience.
Yeah, and I think you touched on that that developer experience there. I think the one thing that I found really useful using GraphCMS when maybe creating a new project is if you create a query that is automatically code-genned and you change something in your GraphCMS model and you're watching for those changes or you rerun the generator, that's immediately going to show inside of your code editor. So if you're trying to render a title and you rename the field to name, then it's going to tell you straight away thanks to that code generator. So it's really cool. I'm really enjoying working with this.
Wow, that sounds really cool. That's one of the things I love about GraphCMS also is that we do a really good job of sharing things that people are excited about, new little pieces of tools or kind of anything really. We do a good job of making sure that we spread the love with things that we enjoy. So that's awesome. Well, Fred and Joao, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to bring in a couple more friendly faces. So it's been awesome to have you guys here, and thanks for sharing what you guys have been working on last month.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having me.
And we have two new friendly faces.
Hello.
We have Pranchu and Scott. So I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself. Maybe Pranchu, if you want to start.
Pranchu, you're muted.
Oh no, you're muted.
Not this.
There we go.
Hello. Yeah. Right. Hello, everyone. I'm Pranshu. This is my first time on the stream, and I've made a terrible mistake to mute my mic. But yeah, hi. I'm the community and events manager at GraphCMS, and whenever you join our Slack, whenever you are somewhere in the community, you probably hear from me. Whenever you join our circuit. Yeah. So that's it, Scott.
Hi, yeah, I'm Scott. I'm a developer advocate here at GraphCMS. Been here about two and a half months now, and this is my second stream. So happy to be here.
Settling in well.
Yes, indeed. I tried not to grit my teeth too much there.
All right. Well, Scott, since you're so excited, we'll go ahead and kick off with you.
Okay.
What have you been working on the last month, I believe?
So I have been recording lots and lots of videos. So for every example of using GraphCMS, we have in the GraphCMS examples repo over on GitHub. I have been creating a brief overview and how to get started with that example. So there's about 22 videos now, and nearly done. There's several more to do, but that's been me for the last 4 or 5 weeks now, making videos.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been great using all different technologies. So
Yeah,
I was mainly like React, and then we've done stuff in Gridsome, Nut, and I started using SvelteKit as well as soon as I sort of joined. So it's cool to get a good overview of how to do all the different things and all the different technologies. So it's been really handy for me to get a good sort of feel on how they work in all these different sort of front end cases. But there was also I think what we demoed last time was Jamie's blog post on using it with Express, and I just finished Apollo Server as well. So they're pretty neat. So yeah, it's been really good.
Awesome. And I see that you when you started using Svelte, it's something which you like a lot now.
I do. Yes. Have I told you?
I've seen your
Have I told
tweets.
you?
I think you have mentioned it once. Not sure.
I think it's in your Twitter too, right?
You know what?
Yeah.
I haven't updated my Twitter bio.
Yeah. You just need some Svelte swag now.
Yes. That's we could do a project with that, Jamie. A Svelte swag store.
Definitely. No, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying these videos. We go through all of the examples we have, and we've got examples in GitHub covering all of the different kind of tools and frameworks you can use with GraphCMS, and it's just nice to watch someone go through them and kind of show how it works. And so amazing work. Really, really good to watch those.
Yeah, they're super great.
Where can people find these? These are just on YouTube on our channel.
Yeah, exactly. So they're on a playlist on our YouTube channel, but you can also find them. The link is also in our product update, so you can find them there as well.
Brilliant, cool,
great.
Before we move on, Emily, you've been asking everybody what they've been up to. What have you been up to? Have you been doing anything?
Have I been doing anything? Oh well, I've been working on a bunch of kind of behind the scenes things. So a couple of great things that have happened just on the GraphCMS front have also been that we were ranked as the most preferred headless CMS in this State of Jamstack 2021 report, which has been really cool. We were very excited about this, and we have a little newsroom post in our GraphCMS newsroom that shares a little bit more about it. So definitely take a look at that. Another thing that was exciting from this month is that we were also recognized in Forrester's Now Tech report on the digital experiences platforms. And one of the things that they specifically mentioned is the idea of composable DXPs, which is something that we're super excited about here at GraphCMS as well. So that's another cool kind of company update, not necessarily something I've been working on, but still very cool behind the scenes stuff.
Awesome.
And one more update on the content side is Ronak also released our new GraphCMS Talks. And this GraphCMS Talks is super interesting. It's about content strategy and voice readiness with Preston So. He's the Senior Director of Product Strategy over at Oracle. And it's a really great talk. I highly recommend it. And it sounds great. It works. It's really interesting to listen to. And so definitely recommend that as well.
Yeah, I had listened and watched through that. I think earlier in the week, and great content. There's a lot of great content which we've now got on our website and on the blog, and in the kind of these talks. It was great to kind of watch through. So all on our YouTube channel if anyone's excited to see all of this stuff and on the blog.
Yeah, 100%. And Pranshu, now you're up. So what have you been working on? What's going on in our community recently?
So one thing that we needed to make sure of when I joined was to create a space for our community where we are. So GraphCMS has a new community page that you can see. Right. So we created this community page thinking of our community that any user who joins should be able to find what they want to do with GraphCMS. So whether it's something that they want to build, whether it's something that they want to learn, whether it's talking to us through our community channels, right? And this is where the community really comes into place, where anybody can join. Like if you want to hit us up, if you have some feedback, like Fred said earlier about your extensions, you can simply join our Slack and talk to us. So whatever you're building, we want to see it. We want to help you. We want to encourage you, empower you to build all of these great things that you're building. And now we have a place for that. So over at the community page, you can also see community-driven projects, and that's where our showcase comes into place. So that's the second page that we released alongside our community page, and you can go there, check out whatever these great projects which are already out there. People have built, our community members have built some great tutorials, some great projects, videos. They've contributed to GraphCMS, right, and created examples with us. So go out there, check it out. There's a lot that you can do. And if you are building something that you want the world to see, come submit your project, and we'll be able to feature you on our showcase page. We want to show what the world is doing with GraphCMS.
And can Scott contribute or submit one of his Svelte projects?
Well, actually,
Definitely.
why isn't it on here? It should be on here.
It should be. You have to submit the form.
You have to submit it.
Yeah.
No, but this is
So
really
you have
great.
it.
This is really great. It's been super cool to see all of the different projects and all the creative things that people are building and have it all in one space. It's really awesome. So I'm super excited that we released this.
True. And dark mode. I think this is one of the only pages, like two of the only pages on a website which are dark mode. Am I right?
True.
I think so, yeah. Very cool. Very nice.
Very, very cool. And Pranshu, what else is going on in the community? Do you have a couple of GraphCMS in the wild updates for us as well?
Right. So GraphCMS in the wild is basically our version of saying that you're in the wild, you're building something, and we want to feature this every month. And we get a few of these projects tagged to us on Twitter, on our community Slack, where people come and tell us what they're building. So this time we have a few of our users building something. So the first one is by Adam, who built a Next.js Tailwind GraphCMS portfolio website tutorial, right? So it's from a live stream, and Adam has gone into each and every part of building the portfolio itself. So he is walking you through building a portfolio, right? And it's completely from scratch, so that you can follow each and everything while Adam is doing it. You can follow him as well, right? So that's the first one. The second one is from our very famous Focus on GraphCMS series. Headless Creator is focusing on GraphCMS, and this is the 8th one, right? So Marcelo has released another video, this time featuring columns, filters, and views. So you can go to headlesscreator.com, check it out. There's a lot of videos out there, and you can register for free.
Awesome.
And yeah, next up we have an in-depth tutorial with Vue.js, a single-page application for e-commerce. So Maxime, who was, I think, one of the first devs for Snipcart, Maxime has gone on to create an in-depth tutorial covering each and everything to help you build an e-commerce website with GraphCMS and Vue. So check it out. There's a live demo. Play along with it. Maybe you can, cover something more and build one for yourself. It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. Yep. And then we have Sean Norton. So Sean is a full stack web developer who has built a fun little website for the Buffalo Riders. And yeah, it's a fun website too. Like you can go and see where they're playing, if you want their merch, if you want their feed. So I really like this website. It's pretty straightforward.
Super cool.
And yeah, last but not the least, Harry Manchanda has created the awesome portfolio website. So Harry pinged us and said that it's not done yet. So I'd love to wait for him to complete it before we feature it on our showcase. But yeah, it's a great fun. It's again pretty straightforward and simple, like I said.
Awesome. Well, as you mentioned, we're always excited for people to tag us or let us know when they're working on something, and we'll definitely make sure to feature more community stuff in the future. So hit Punch you up if you're working on something and you want it to be featured in the GraphCMS in the wild or on our showcase, on your showcase page.
True.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Come
good
fill
very
out
good
the
update.
form.
That's a great
Awesome.
stuff. So, what else have we got going on, Pranshu? I know there's something that you're working on that others should be aware of in this space. Do you want to tell everyone about it
Right.
and how they can learn more?
Sure. Yeah. So we are working on the GraphQL conference. Woohoo!
Woo!
Yeah. So like it says, GraphQL conferences where the community and ecosystem come together. We are, we're trying to line up a huge show for people who love GraphQL, who are GraphQL connoisseurs building something and want to learn more and want to build more with GraphQL. So this is a conference for them. And if you are somebody who is building something and wants to speak at the GraphQL Conf, you can do that. There's a button on the top right, ask to speak. Come and talk to us, fill the form. And if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, it's for free. Come, just fill in your email, register, and be a part of the GraphQL Conf. Right? It's on September 29th, end of September. So yeah, register right now so that you don't forget.
Yeah. And one thing that is different about GraphQL Conf this year is that it'll also be online. So you don't have to travel anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. And so definitely check it out. You're not limited based on if you can travel to Berlin. So it's all online for free.
Sure, that is correct.
Awesome. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's kind of all of the updates that we have so far. I mean, this was a huge amount of stuff to highlight this month, and I know that next month is going to be just as jam-packed, but thanks everyone for coming on and joining us.
Yeah, thank you, and
All
thanks for hanging around, Fred, watching the rest of the stream.
No, it was interesting. I learned a lot of things.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, thanks everyone so much, and we'll see you next time.